doing very well today. If you're new here, my name is Natalie Jade. I post videos twice a week. I also have a vlogging channel, so make sure you do follow me over there too. But welcome to my channel. I hope you're all very well. So today I'm going to be doing how I used to do my makeup versus how I do it now. So I'm going to be doing half on my face. I'm so excited to share this with you, so let's just get started into this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Do not forget to smash that thumbs up button, leave a comment down below for me, and subscribe to my channel for more content just like this. And let's get started. So I have a bunch of makeup in front of me. I'm not going to go through it individually because I'm just going to go through it as I actually do the full face. So when it comes to old makeup versus new, by old I mean when I first started my YouTube channel, because that's when I first got into makeup, so my first original makeup kit really. So my primer, I never really used to wear primer, but this is the first primer I ever wore. When I did, I got obsessed with it. So this is the one that I'm going to go for today. I'm going to go old on this side and new on this side. So this is my Featherweight Pore Primer. This one is so nice. This is by Revolution. It's so good. And then on the other side, it's also Revolution primer. This one is the Super Matte Primer from the Relove Revolution range, and this is my go-to at the moment. So I'm just gonna start off with this one here. I don't know how I'm gonna do like bits like my nose, but I'm just gonna do my best. So I'm going in with the Featherweight one. There's not as much of this product left, if I'm honest. There's not loads of it left. And I've always used my finger to apply this with, but nothing I'm going to find interesting in this video is because I have changed my application methods with a lot of different things. Like I used to use a sponge for my foundation, and now I use a brush and things like that. So I think it's quite interesting. But yeah, that always leaves my face feeling really nice, but I just don't feel like it does feel nice. There's just something missing to this primer, if I'm honest. It's really nice, but it does say Featherweight primer. It's a very lightweight one, but I think it's a little bit too lightweight for me. But this is still a really nice primer. It's got a really nice feel to it. I just feel like you need to use a lot more product to have the effect that I want it to have, but then it kind of loses the effect of the product, if that makes sense. But I do still love this one, and this one is still one of my absolute favourites. It does feel so lightweight and nice on your face. So next one I've got, this is the mattifying one, and I always applied this one onto the back of my hand. The texture of the last one was really creamy and really just like kind of creamy, like a moisturiser maybe. This one is literally, like a gel. If you can see there, it's just like an actual gel, which is such a weird consistency. I probably did put too much on the back of my hand for half a face because I'm used to doing like a full face. But this one literally glides on. It smells a little bit like aloe vera, which I do really like. And it glides onto your face so nicely. It does help to mattify your skin. I think it really gets into your pores and just is such a good primer. This is just like my go-to at the moment. A lot of my favourite products, I'll be honest, are actually from places like Revolution, and I'm really into drugstore brands. So that's my face all primed, and this does look a lot shinier than this one, but that's just because of how kind of gel and how liquidy that one was compared to this one. This is more of a cream texture. Next, I'm going to move on to my foundation. This is my very first foundation I ever bought. This is the Match Perfection foundation in the shade Light Porcelain, which is 010, and this is the colour. So it's a very light colour, which is a little bit too light for me now, especially since I tan now. And then this is the other one that I'm going to use, which is the Foundation Drops. This is my go-to for a natural makeup look, which is what I'm going to go for today. If I was going for my more going out makeup look, I'd use my NARS one because the coverage on that is insane. The NARS is my absolute favourite. But I'm just going to go for this one for now. But if you can see, this one actually comes in a little pipette, and this one here is more of a pumping bottle. So what I'm going to do with this one is apply this onto the back of my hand, and then I'm going to use a brush to apply it to my face, and then a beauty blender to blend it in with. So this one is just such a light colour, but it is really good coverage. If you can see, it's just way too light for me now. I'm going to use this brush here. This is just one of my flat ones that I really like to use to apply my foundation. If you can see what I mean by how light that is on my skin. It's just way too light now, but I do still really love this foundation. So maybe more of like a winter foundation than a summer one. One thing that I'm really interested with this video is to see like the actual results in the end and see how different it is, if that makes sense. So I've just tried to fix the lighting a little bit because it was a little bit dark, so I'm just going to apply some more of that foundation now so I can get that to blend it in with. I'm just applying that all over my face. But the lighting is a lot better now. I just want you guys to be able to see the products in kind of like their true form and not the load of artificial lighting on. Okay, so this is what it is looking like. I'm now going to use a beauty blender to blend this out. The type of beauty blender I used to use, I never really used the Real Techniques ones. I just used one of these squishy ones here. So I'm going to blend all of this out. But as I said, it makes me look so pale. That is pretty much all blended in now. I'm pretty happy with that. So that is literally what my makeup used to look like. I look so pale with that. And now it's time to move on to this side. So as I said before, these are my Revolution Pro Drops. These are in F3, but I also do get F6, but sometimes I just mix the two of them together. On the back of my hand with a little pipette. And just using that to apply it on my face. But if you can see there, the actual colour difference. So I'm just applying this all over my forehead. I'm just going to get a little bit more of this on my forehead, just because I haven't really got much. And then that side of my nose, my lip, and my chin. I'm now going to go and blend all of this in. This is the beauty blender that I've been using mainly recently. My Real Techniques one. I just love Real Techniques. All of their products are just absolutely incredible. So I'm going to use my mirror to blend this in. I definitely do prefer the colour of this one. And I do prefer the finish of it. But I think that is mainly because of the primer that I had underneath. I do prefer the finish. So I am trying to blend it in so it doesn't look like I've got like a massive line down my forehead and like down my nose and everything. So I am blending that centre line in there. I'm just making sure I haven't missed any patches when blending. So that's what my face is looking like, and you can tell that one side's a little bit darker than the other, but not majorly if I'm honest. So now I'm going to go in with my concealer. So I used to be completely obsessed with this concealer. This is the Rimmel London Match Perfection one in the shade Ivory. I loved the way it applied. I loved the little applicator on it. But then that one's going to be my old one. And then my new one's going to be the e.l.f. 16 Hour Camo Coverage Concealer. It's hard to go for this one because this is one of my absolute favourites. This is literally my go-to concealer. I'm going to use this one here. And if I'm honest, my concealer is probably going to be darker than my foundation for this side of my face because my foundation is so light. The concealer looks darker than it. And I don't know why I used to do this. And I don't know how I got into doing this. But yeah. So I used to just use a normal full-side beauty blender to blend this in. So I've got my beauty blender from my foundation. And I'm just blending that under my eyes. So I'm now going to go in with my e.l.f. one for the other eye. And this is going to go underneath this. If I'm honest, concealer isn't as nice as I thought it was before. I do like how it's covered up kind of the bag there. But then it's still got kind of like puffiness underneath my eye. So it is good. But maybe it's kind of one that's more of a buildable one. But this is my e.l.f. one. And I like to apply some there. And then I'll apply some up here. I do like to apply it down my nose. But obviously you can't do half a nose. So I'm just going to use my e.l.f. one down my nose. And then e.l.f. one on that half of my chin. Which I'm not sure how that's going to turn out. And then I usually use a mini beauty blender to blend this in. Sometimes I do build my concealer though now. So I may do that. Just depending on how it looks. So I'm just blending this out. It blends so nicely to this concealer. It looks really dark compared to the other one. And it has to be like my ultimate favourite concealer. I do have other ones that I do love as well obviously, but just really like this one. There's a really nice Kiko one that I have too, but I just think this one just blends so nicely. So I'm just going to go over and do a small layer again, just kind of hide this little bit underneath my eyes there. So I'm just sitting a bit closer so you guys can actually see what's happening a bit better. So I'm just going to do that one there, and I'm just applying it on that little line there. Just applying it on that line, and I just like to do that to help blend my concealer out a little bit and just kind of blend it into my foundation a lot nicer. So I'm just blending that up. So now that's applied, I'm going to start doing my actual face bits. So my blush, my contour and my highlight. So when I first started, I never used blush. I was completely obsessed with Model's Own highlight, and I loved highlights so much. This is one that I used. And then for my contour, I used this palette here, which was my absolute favourite. They don't do this anymore, so we do look after that one. For my contour and all that now, I use the Patricia Bright palette for my blush because this is one of my favourites. It's got such a natural colour and it just suits me really nicely. For my highlights, I'll probably use the SOPH palette. I use so many different highlights, but I'll probably use the SOPH palette because this is absolutely gorgeous and I love the gold shade. And for my contour, I'll be using the Roxy palette. I normally use a mixture of the two lightest shades there. So I'm going to get started with those. So I'm going to go in with my Old Face first again. I normally apply my contour first. I always use the same brush, which was this one here. And I used to go so heavy with my contour, like I never blended it out. So I used to go in with both of the two dark shades there, and I just stick it on this brush here, which is the foundation and contour brush, but I get mainly the bottom colour but like a hint of the top one too. And I just try shape it there, and I'd literally put a big line. So frustrating, so I want to use other brushes to like blend it out with to make it look nicer. And then I've got to remember this is the way I've got to do it because of the challenge. But this is currently, if I move the camera a bit, that's currently how it's looking. And then I'd literally just keep building it up and building it up. I was very intense with my contour when I first started with makeup. And I do it literally like everywhere. Like I do it all over my chin. I just do a big line there. You can see like how dark it got. Like how dark it is there. And I used to do this literally every single day. Like whenever I went to any concerts, stuff like that. This is like how dark I do my contour. And then I do it like there. But I wouldn't really blend it into my hairline. I'd more kind of just put it on my forehead and just kind of stick it on there. So that is what my contour is looking like, and I'd probably go over it again one more time, dabbing into that darker colour again. So my whole face is like completely contoured there. If you see it from that angle, like it's so dark. Yeah, it's so dark is that one. I'm not gonna lie, I think I used to have the placement of it a little bit too high as well, so I have tried to place it a little bit higher than I normally would, but I'm gonna move on to my normal contour now. So nowadays I prefer to go with my Real Techniques brush. This is the sculpting brush, my absolute favourite, and like I said, we're gonna dip into this Roxy palette, which is the two lightest shades. I'm gonna go with the lightest one for now because that's one of my favourites, and I apply it in strokes. So I'm constantly keeping the brush moving. I like to apply it in strokes going down. This is how I like to do it now though, but obviously I'm no makeup artist. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of making it up, seeing what works for me. But my contour there is so horrible, but that's literally how I used to do it. Come into my contour now. I try to get it a lot more natural, but I'm still learning though. I think everyone's literally always still learning if I'm honest, but this is currently what it's looking like. Just mixing those two shades in. And I just love the way that that actually applies to that one. Sometimes I do like to build this up and kind of just play with it a bit more, but at the moment I'm quite liking it. So that's what it's looking like. So I like to do it a lot more natural on a daily basis, like I said. So I'm now going to go in, because I'm done with my contour now, I'm going to go in with my highlight. And the one that I used to use is my Sculpt and Glow highlight by Model Zone. So for my highlight, I'm pretty sure I used to just use like a normal like brush. So I used to go in with like the white and the violet one and just get a load of that on my brush and then just kind of apply it. And I used to do it so high up as well. I used to do it like right up here. And I'd apply it like there and then apply it all the way down here as well. So I used to be so highlighted. It is a gorgeous highlight though. Honestly, this is such a go-to highlight. It's still one of my favourites. I don't really reach for it anymore. I think one of the reasons is because I got so many smashed palettes. Like I ordered loads of palettes. And every time I got a new palette by them, it was always smashed, which really annoyed me. So I'm just doing my whole part here with it. I literally used to go crazy with my highlight. I say used to, I still kind of go crazy, but this is literally what my highlight used to look like. It'd be such a contrast against the contour because like it's such a dark colour compared to the literal white. So that is how I used to do my highlighter, which is literally like a little disco ball. It's so shiny, and sometimes I'd still put sometimes I'd put a bit on my head just to make that a little bit shiny too. So I'm just going to do some of that there. That's literally what I used to do with my hair with losing my hairline and everything. So that's what it's looking like currently. It looks so shiny. So now I like a fan brush, or I like my Real Techniques setting brush. I love these two. I'm gonna go with my fan brush today, I think. And I'm using the Self one. I'm using this highlight here, which is gorgeous, this little golden shade. So I'm just gonna get some on my brush, and then I'm just gonna apply this. So you can see how stunning that colour is there. It's so pretty, and that's literally how I'd apply mine now. And I will put some on under my nose because that's what I usually do. I didn't used to do that, but I do that now. But that's what's that looking like. That looks so crazy and highlighted here and kind of just like so shiny. On this one it's a bit more of a natural highlight. So I'm going to go with my blush now. I didn't used to use blush, so I'm not putting it on this side. But for this side I'm using my Patricia Bright palette, this gorgeous pink tone here. And I'm using my Brushworks brush. This is just a really nice one. I do like to use it to just apply the blush with. I don't want to put too much on, but I just want to have a little bit of a kind of a sun-kissed look. We can see the kind of pink glow there compared to on this side, which there is none. It's just a massive amount of highlight on there. So I'm going to apply a tiny bit more, and I think this blush actually helps to mattify my skin as well. Like, it helps to really mattify it, which is really good. So you can see that being applied there, and sometimes I will go over it with like a beauty blender or like a sponge or something just to help blend it out a little bit, just the edges. So next thing to move on to is my eyes. I never ever used anything with my eyebrows, but when I started experimenting with my eyebrows, I tried to fill them in a bit and they got a bit too big. So I'm pretty sure it was this kind of brush that I used for my eyebrows. This now I use for cut crease and that kind of thing, but this is the kind of brush that I went for. I remember the exact palette I used for my eyebrows though. So this palette used to be my absolute go-to. This was £4 from Primark, and it's a Nude Basics palette. It's been used so much. So I used to use like a mixture of these two shades here for my eyebrows. So I'd get some of the darker shade tapped into my brush, and then I'd get some of the lighter shade tapped on, and I'd just kind of tap the excess a couple of times. And I used to use this to try to fill my eyebrows in, which doesn't really work, but I still tried and I still persisted and I carried on doing it, and it still didn't work. But I used to use this. It's definitely the wrong brush for it as well. And it just wasn't the right colour. Like, if it was the right colour, that'd be okay, but it literally makes my eyebrows look ginger on this side, and it's just not really right, if I'm honest. So again, I'm just going to do this here, and it's so dark. Like, if I miss my eyebrows, or like I missed a little bit there, you can literally see massive like dark blob underneath my eyes. Yeah, it just makes my eyebrows look really, really big. And then because it look really big here, I try to like fill them out in the middle as well, to try to kind of like make them look a bit more natural, which didn't really work. I think it just made my whole eyebrows just kind of look really big and dark and bushy. So this is how my eyebrows used to look, which is kind of crazy, and now I'm going to do them how they look now. So nowadays for my eyebrows, I look so crazy right now, but nowadays my eyebrows use this gel. This is the St. Lux Brow Gel, 5.8 milliliters in clear. This so good. I love this so much. I got this in a glossy box a while ago. So what I like to do is I like to just lift my brows with this. I don't like to have too much product on the wand, but I just like to try and lift my brows with this, and then I go in with my brow pencil and I do fill them in very, very lightly. So this is the Powder Brow by Revolution. This is one side, and it's got kind of like a granite stick on the other. I'm going to use a little stick to just fill in some tiny little hairs there. Not too much, literally just a little bit. And if I do too much, I try to like blend it out with my finger a little bit just to make it look a lot more natural. So that's literally all I'm going to do with it, literally filling in the gaps. And on the other side is this little like spoolie kind of thing. And I brush my brows up using that gel that's still on there, just so they look a little bit neater really. So I'm going to go for more natural nude looks on both eyes today. So I'm going to go in with my Nude Basics palette for my left eye. And I literally just used to use a mixture of this shade here, this one here, and this one here. Literally those three shades I used to use. And then sometimes I stick glitter on, but very rarely. I used to be obsessed with doing my inner corner, but I'd never really do any glitter on my lid. So when I started my makeup, I literally had no clue how to really do it at all. So I used to use literally one shade in the first half of my eyes, and then I'd use like a darker one and blend it out into the outer corners, and that'd be pretty much it. I never use an eye primer. I never use like any other sort of blending brush. I use 2 brushes, and I basically did that. That was about it. That's all I really did when I started. I used to use a inner corner shimmer, and this is probably the nicest one out of the palette, which is this one here. So I'm just going to stick that in my inner corners how I used to do it, which just looks not to my cup of tea, if I'm honest. Really doesn't. So now I'm going to go and start on the other eye. I'm going to use my P. Louise priming base, and I'm going to use these 2 palettes here, which are my favourites. The Revolution Forever Flawless Allure palette, and this one here, which is the Beauty Bay Fiery Matte palette. I'm not going to do all this on camera because it's just going to take so much time. This video is long enough already. So if you do want to see me do my normal makeup, go and check one of my other videos out, and then I'll be right back. My eyes are now done, and I'm going to go in with my mascara. The mascara I used to use was the Super Lash, well, Extra Super Lash mascara from Rimmel London, and this was the Rita Ora one. So I'm just going to apply this. This looks so clumpy. I haven't used it in so long. So I'm just applying this now. It does feel really clumpy. I'll be honest, it's got quite good volume and good coverage. It's just a bit clumpy, that's all. And my other one is the Olivia Hale one. This is a really nice one. I use this all the time. I really like the effect. It gives kind of like a lot of volume, but it also doesn't make it more obvious that you've got mascara on, so it looks quite natural but really long and really, really nice. I'm only doing 1 coat of each though. So I thought I'd bring you guys over to the window to show you all the final looks. It's a bit more natural like, so it looks a bit more crazy here. This is what I mean by the contour. This is how I used to do my contour. I'd literally do my whole cheek and then leave like a line of white here. And this is how crazy I used to do my highlight. Again, look at my eyebrows. Look at how insane my eyebrows look. I really like the mascara though from the old mascara. The old mascara I actually really, really liked. Overall, I do prefer my new makeup to my old. I won't lie, I do definitely prefer it. But yeah, I hope you've all enjoyed this video. I really, really enjoyed the filming this. I hope you love this as much as I did. Do not forget to smash that thumbs up button down below. Sure to subscribe to my channel for more content just like this, and to leave me a lovely little comment to read later on. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!